Prologue, the silent arrival. The universe was vast and unforgiving, but for millennia, Earth had been blissfully unaware of the true scale of the darkness that lurked beyond the stars, while humans debated politics, fought wars, and reached for the stars with fragile hands. An alien force watched them with cold indifference, preparing for the day when they would claim this small blue planet for themselves. The Erekth were not conquerors by nature, they were masters of enslavement. Their empire stretched across hundreds of star systems, built on the backs of millions of enslaved species. Each planet they subjugated became a resource factory, its inhabitants reduced to little more than laborers. Earth was next. From the depths of the galaxy, the Erekth fleet crept closer to Earth, their ships shrouded in cloaking technology so advanced that not even the most sophisticated human radar systems could detect them. They observed humanity, analyzing their weaknesses, their strengths, and ultimately, how best to break them. They had done this 1,000 times before. Humanity was just another target. Chapter 1, The Invasion Begins. It was a calm night on Earth when the first of the Erekth ships descended. Without warning, the alien crafts broke through the atmosphere, their sheer size blotting out the stars. Unlike the dramatic sci-fi movies humans had created, there were no flashing lights, no booming warnings, just a chilling, silent descent. Within hours, the sky over major cities was dominated by Erekth ships. Their design was alien in every sense, smooth, metallic, and cold, with no visible seams. It was as if they had been molded from the very fabric of space itself. The largest ship, hovering above the Atlantic Ocean, sent a single message broadcasted through every screen, radio, and communication device on the planet. We are the Erekth. Your planet belongs to us now. Surrender, and you will serve. Resist, and you will be destroyed. Panic ensued. Governments worldwide scrambled to understand the nature of the threat, but the sheer speed of the invasion crippled them. Within minutes, military installations, communication hubs, and satellite systems were systematically destroyed. It became clear that the Erekth had come not to negotiate, but to conquer. Chapter 2, The First Wave. In the heart of New York City, Major Sarah Carter stood on the roof of her command center, watching the alien ships in horror. She had heard reports from other cities, London, Tokyo, Moscow, all facing similar invasions. The alien craft seemed impervious to any human weaponry. Rockets and missiles exploded harmlessly against their hulls. Fighter jets were swatted from the skies by beams of energy that disintegrated anything in their path. The Erekth didn't just rely on their technology, though. They sent ground troops, giant, four-armed beings with shimmering, silver skin and eyes that glowed a haunting blue. These soldiers moved with terrifying precision, rounding up humans by the thousands and fitting them with neural implants that stripped them of their free will. Sarah watched as her soldiers fought valiantly against the Erekth troops, but it was futile. Their advanced weaponry and sheer size gave them the upper hand. Within hours, New York was overrun, and the first labor camps were established. But even as her city fell, Sarah vowed that humanity would not go down without a fight. Meanwhile, in an underground facility in Colorado, Marcus Kahn, one of the world's most brilliant tech engineers, monitored the alien invasion with grim determination. His team, known as Echo Network, had been preparing for this day for years. They had long suspected that Earth would eventually attract the attention of an extraterrestrial force. What they didn't know was how soon it would come. "Are you seeing this?" one of Marcus's engineers whispered as they watched the live feed of the invasion. Marcus nodded. "They're not here to conquer us, they're here to enslave us." Chapter 3, The Resistance Forms. In the weeks that followed the initial invasion, the world descended into chaos. Governments collapsed, cities became ghost towns, and millions of humans were rounded up and fitted with neural implants. The Erekth controlled every facet of human life, turning Earth into a massive labor camp. They transformed cities into factories, using humans to mine resources, build ships, and expand their empire. But while most of the world submitted to the Erekth, small pockets of resistance began to form. In the Amazon rainforest, hidden from the aliens' view, rebel groups organized guerrilla warfare tactics. In the icy tundra of Siberia, small communities of humans took refuge in underground bunkers, avoiding detection. And in the mountains of Colorado, Marcus's Echo Network worked tirelessly to find a way to fight back. Their biggest breakthrough came when they managed to capture one of the Erektha's scout drones. Using the drone's technology, Marcus discovered a vulnerability in the Erektha's neural implants. If they could disrupt the signal controlling the implants, they could free millions of enslaved humans. Marcus knew he couldn't do this alone. He needed someone with military expertise, someone who could lead a global uprising. That's when he reached out to Major Sarah Carter. When Sarah received the encrypted message from Marcus, she was hiding with a group of survivors in the ruins of New York. Her eyes lit up as she read the proposal. If Marcus was right, they had a chance, a slim chance, but a chance nonetheless. Chapter 4, Striking Back. Chapter 4, Striking Back. The plan was simple in theory but nearly impossible in execution. Marcus had developed a device that could emit a pulse capable of disrupting the Erectha's control over their neural implants. But the device needed to be deployed in a high-traffic area, somewhere where it could free as many humans as possible. They chose Los Angeles, one of the largest Erect-controlled cities in North America. The Resistance had gathered every resource they could spare: stolen Erect weapons, retrofitted vehicles, and hacked drones. Sarah led the strike team, while Marcus remained in his underground base, guiding them remotely. As they approached Los Angeles, Sarah's heart raced. They had only one shot at this. If they failed, the Erect would know about the Resistance, and their chance for a global uprising would be lost. The battle began at dawn. The Resistance attacked with ferocity, surprising the Erect forces. Using their stolen technology, they disabled key outposts and breached the inner defenses of the city. As the fighting intensified, Marcus activated the device. The pulse rippled through the city like a silent wave, invisible but powerful. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the enslaved humans began to wake from their robotic stupor. Their implants sparked and fizzled, and they ripped them from their skulls. Confusion turned to anger, and anger turned to action. The once enslaved humans turned on their captors, attacking the Erect with whatever they could find: metal pipes, rocks, stolen weapons. Sarah's team, seeing the uprising take hold, pressed further into the city. They had done it. They had sparked the first real rebellion against the Erect. But the fight was far from over. Chapter 5, A Desperate Gamble. The success of the Los Angeles uprising sent shockwaves across the globe. News spread like wildfire, and soon other cities began to rebel. But the Erect were not easily defeated. They responded with brutal efficiency, deploying reinforcements to crush the uprisings. The Resistance knew that if they didn't act fast, the Erect would regain control. Their only hope was to take down the Erect mothership hovering over the Atlantic Ocean. The mothership was the heart of the invasion, the command center for the entire operation. If they could destroy it, the Erectha's control over Earth would crumble. But taking down the mothership was a suicide mission. The ship was heavily fortified, protected by shields and guarded by an army of Erect soldiers. No human craft could penetrate its defenses. That's when Marcus proposed a desperate plan. Using the captured Erect drone technology, they would infiltrate the mothership undetected. Marcus had found a way to override the mothership's security systems, but it required someone to manually enter the ship and trigger the override from the inside. It was a one-way trip. Sarah volunteered immediately. If this is what it takes to free humanity, then I'm in. Chapter 6, The Final Battle. The infiltration team consisted of Sarah, Marcus, and a small group of elite soldiers. They boarded a stolen Erect ship and cloaked themselves as they approached the mothership. As they ascended into the cold blackness of space, Sarah couldn't help but feel the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. Inside the mothership, the air was thick with tension. Erect soldiers patrolled every corridor, and the hum of alien machinery echoed through the halls. The team moved quickly, using Marcus's hacked data to avoid detection. They reached the core of the ship, where the central control system was located. Marcus began the override sequence, but it wasn't long before the Erect realized they had intruders. The ship's alarms blared, and Erect soldiers swarmed the control room. "Hold them off," Sarah shouted as she and her team engaged in a fierce firefight. The Erect were relentless, but so were the humans. Using their stolen technology, they fought with everything they had. Marcus worked frantically, his fingers flying over the alien console. Almost there, just a few more seconds. But the Erect were closing in. Sarah knew they wouldn't survive long enough to escape, but it didn't matter. They had come here to finish the job, no matter the cost. Suddenly, the ship shuddered as Marcus completed the override. The core systems began to overload, triggering a catastrophic chain reaction. "We did it," Marcus whispered, his voice full of both triumph and sorrow. Sarah looked at her team, bruised and bloodied, but defiant. Humanity won't forget this day. Epilogue: Humanity rises. The destruction of the Erect mothership sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. Without their command center, the Erect forces were thrown into disarray. The global resistance seized the opportunity, launching coordinated attacks on the remaining Erect forces. One by one, the alien ships fell, and their hold on Earth weakened. Months later, humanity stood victorious. The Erect had been driven from Earth, but the scars of the war remained. Cities lay in ruins, millions had died, and the world had changed forever. But humanity had endured. They had faced extinction, enslavement, and unimaginable horrors, but they had fought back with a fierceness that the Erect had never expected. As the surviving humans began to rebuild, they knew that the threat of the Erect wasn't gone forever. Other alien races would come, drawn by the stories of Earth's rebellion. But humanity was ready. They had learned to fight, to survive, and to adapt, and they would never be enslaved again.